Hi, we are at the start of a new year, 2023. So what new cameras and lenses will we see from Nikon this year? Now there have been a lot of rumors going back months that there will be a Nikon Z8. And I'd love to see a Nikon Z8. I would like it to be a mirrorless version of the DSLR, the Nikon D500, which is an excellent sports and wildlife camera. I think Nikon will have to introduce several mirrorless cameras this year to keep up with Canon and Sony. It seems they're coming out with new cameras all the time. I would also like to see an upgrade to the Z7 II and the Z6 II. Those are both great cameras, excellent image quality. What I'd like to see is maybe borrow some of the autofocus features from the Z9, and I'd also like to see a fully articulating screen on both the Z6 and Z7. I don't think they really have to make big changes to the Z6 II or Z7 II. Again, it's just the autofocus. Autofocus for birds in flight, sports, action, continuous autofocus is where I think the biggest improvements are needed. Now, as far as lenses are concerned, I think Nikon's been doing a great job filling out the Z lens lineup over the last few years. There are now 29 different Z mount lenses. And if you go to Nikon's website, you will see a list of future lenses. There are 8 lenses which they call future lenses. So let's have a look at each one. Now, there's not a lot of detail on the Nikon site. It's basically the focal length, whether it's a DX lens or not. Nothing as far as aperture. So I'm going to speculate a little bit about each one. The first lens we have listed is a DX 12 to 28 PZ. I think that will probably be an f4. Now, I don't know what the PZ stands for. Could it be power zoom? I don't think so. But this is a focal length range that is really needed for DX Z cameras. So I think that would be a nice addition. And hopefully all these lenses will be out in 2023. Next, we have a DX 24mm. That's probably a compact 2.0 or more than likely a 2.8. Next, we have a 26mm. Now, if you look at the silhouette, it looks very thin, but I don't think any of these lenses are to scale. But I'm really curious about this lens. It will probably be a compact 2.8. That's also a strange focal length. I don't remember anyone making a 26mm in the past. Next, we have the 35mm S-line. Now, that's probably going to be a 1.2 because Nikon already has a Z-mount 35mm 1.8. The 70 to 180 most likely will be a 2.8, and I think probably it will be the Tamron design, similar to the 28 to 75 2.8. Now, the 85 has been anticipated for quite a while. They already have a 1.8, which is superb. More than likely, this lens will be a 1.2. Now, Nikon has always had a 135mm lens dating back to 135 3.5 for the f-mount from 1959. But my guess in this case that this lens will be either an f2 or possibly a 1.8. Finally is another lens that has been hotly anticipated, the 200 to 600. Now, I'm hoping it's a variable aperture lens, possibly 4.5 to 7.1 to keep the weight down. Now, Nikon has a 200 to 500 5.6 in f-mount, and it's a nice lens, but it weighs a little over 5 pounds, and I think that's way too heavy. So hopefully the 200 to 600 will be much lighter. Now, maybe there'll be a few surprises. Lenses not on the roadmap. Nikon has done this recently, coming out with lenses that we had no idea they were going to announce. I'd like to see a 50 1.4 or maybe a 58 1.4. I mean, they have an excellent 51.2. The 51.8 is also excellent, but I would love to see a 1.4, much smaller and lighter than the 51.2. And also I'd like to see possibly a 200 macro lens. Nikon for a long time made a 200 f4 macro that was excellent. And a lens like that would be great if you shoot a lot of macro photography of insects. That lens would give you much greater working distance. Okay, so that's it. I think it's going to be a very interesting year for Nikon shooters. And I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know what cameras or lenses you think that you would like to see in the coming year. So leave a comment in the comments below. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I come out with a new video every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. So I will talk to you next time.